Hey, aloha. Welcome to the Friday live coaching call. I'm Tom Gaddis. We have a great show lined up for you today, a great coaching call. I'm going to be talking about an old school method that you can use to generate cash flow quickly. Again, Tom Gaddis, welcome to the Friday coaching call. We're going to be talking about an old school method that I used early on to get 16 new clients in 7 days. I generated about $7,000 in total revenue. About 3,400 of that was pure profit. Today, I'm going to talk about that process. I'm going to give you a link to a free training where I explain all of it. It's not your typical training where I hold back anything. I give you the whole system. You can watch that training without buying anything extra. You can just go out and start doing this yourself. Of course, I'm going to take your questions today, and we'll share some shout outs and all that other fun stuff as well. Welcome, everybody. Let me take a look in the comments. Let's see who's here. Sabrina, Dorn, Jacqueline. Welcome. Happy Friday. I'm excited to be on this coaching call today. I'm glad you guys are all here as well. I was running a little behind on some of my setup, so we'll just see how this goes today. All right. Okay, great. So let's just dive right into this. So I wanted to start off by sharing this. So this is something that popped up on my wife's social media feed a couple of weeks ago. And I want you to look at this. This was 13 years ago. So this post she made on September 3rd, 2012. And I want to show you guys this to show you that this strategy that we teach of using the directory site and what I'm going to talk about today, which is something you can use in combination with your smart directory AI site, which packs a very powerful punch, is something that we've been refining, developing, building out, doing in the real world for a long time. Now, over the years, the tech has changed and some of the underlying processes have changed because now we have things like AI and Chat GPT and all the stuff that can help us do a lot of these things more efficiently and quicker. But this strategy we've been doing for a long time. And you see this post. This is what I had my wife do. She made this post. She said, "Aloha, my friends. Tommy just started a new site supporting local businesses and a very cool mailer that Kihei will start receiving very soon. So please go and like his Facebook page, the kind coupons, and feel free to join his text club too." So this is something, SMS was really big at the time. It was just coming around. So something I was playing around in conjunction with the things that I was doing back then as well. But again, I show you this just to show you that like this strategy I've been doing for a long time. It works like gangbusters. I should have put the picture up here because one time I wanted to take the kids to Disney World, and I was like, I'd love to have some extra money to go to Disney World. So I just did the strategy that I'm going to show you today right before we took the trip. And I had an extra $3,000 to spend at Disney just from the strategy. Like you can basically just do this, implement it anytime you want, whenever you want. We'll talk about best times and all that stuff too. But really it's something you can just, you're like, hey, I want an extra couple grand. You can just throw this together. Now, this is an old school service. So, you know, this isn't something that you just punch a couple of buttons and it just works automatically. This is, it does, there's nothing about it that's hard, but it is a lot more old school, boots on the ground relationship type thing. But we'll talk about all that as we go through here. This was another little blast from the past. When I started doing this mailer, this was actually the car that I owned at the time. This is a 1991 Nissan Sentra. I can't remember how much we paid for this car. It was like super, super cheap. The air conditioning didn't work. Like this was what they call on the islands a Maui cruiser. Like I think the back windows didn't even roll down. And I was so embarrassed of this car that when I started prospecting for what I'm going to show you today, I was actually just walking into businesses. That's how I did it. I got up every morning at 8 o'clock. I left my house by a little before 9. I was walking into my first business around 9. I would just walk in, introduce myself, talk to business owners from about 9 to 11:30. I'd take a break for lunch, and then I'd start back up around 1:30, 2 o'clock, and I'd round out the day around 5. We'll talk a little bit about that process here in a minute. But this car, I was so embarrassed of it that I would park it like as far away as I could, and then I would walk around to I didn't want any of the business owners to see me getting out of this thing. Right. So anyway, gosh, I mean, this just like, I think back to these days, and maybe some of you can relate to this, when you're just trying to figure it out, you're willing to do whatever it takes. You're clawing, you're scratching, you're fighting for every little inch of just some traction and momentum. I mean, that's the space that I was in at this point. And, it just, I think about that and I think, wow, how did I make that all work? Right. Well, I mean, the first thing was I didn't give up. I just kept going. And now I'll share today the strategy I used and all that stuff. So here is what I was doing. Okay. So this is a picture of one of the this is like the first template that I had made. And I think I had somebody on Fiverr make this for me. Okay. And so this is a 9x12 postcard. Now I have some actual ones here that I'm going to show you here in a minute, but this is an actual physical jumbo postcard. It's a 9x12 size. Actually, some people call this like the 9x12 method, but anyway, this was an actual card that I would send out in the mail. And so the idea was you sell these advertising spots to advertisers, and then you mail this out to 10,000 residents in your local area using a program that at the time was kind of new at the post office called Every Door Direct Mail. It's still around here in the US. It allows you to send mail like this at a very, very steep discounted price. And because you're doing this a co-op and people are paying, you can make a very good profit, and they get a really great deal on some direct mail. Now, this, as you can see, this is like an early mock-up. I was playing around with some different pricing. Eventually, I settled in on the model of using this postcard as I guess some people would call it a loss leader, but it really wasn't a loss leader because it made money. My goal with this card, like a lot of stuff, was not to make a huge amount of profit. My goal with this card was to use it to get people to actually pay me so that I had paying clients, and then I could sell them other services. Does that sound familiar? You see how the directory and all that stuff kind of evolved from this? So this was my lead magnet. I would go around to businesses. I would show them this. I'd say, look, I'm going to send this out to 10,000 residents. It's only $500. That's 5 cents per mail piece for their business to get in front of 10,000 residents in Kihei, which, if you've ever done any direct mail, is a crazy little, like, that is way less than a single postage stamp, right? Like, you cannot, and that includes the ad design and the printing and all of this stuff. So it was really a no-brainer offer. And the way I would do it is I would just say, look, you just pay me $250 now. I will design your ad, get it all together. And then when your ad is finished, you pay me the other $250. Now, I did none of this work myself. I found a designer on Upwork. And after I sold my first spots, I had some money and I hired a designer. I think I gave them $200 deposit to start building ads for me. And then once I collected all the deposits, I paid my designer, I paid for the printing. Then I had the cards printed. I had the money for the postage, right? And that was it. So it was a what we call a self-liquidating offer in the direct response world, because I spent zero of my own money to do this. The only money I spent out of my own pocket was, I think, the initial $30 I spent to have this created. And then I went down to Office Max and I had them print it in a 9x12 side, and I had it laminated because I didn't actually have a card, right? So I would just walk in with these laminated cards and be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. And people would say like, well, is it going to be laminated? And I'm like, no, it's going to be printed on nice stock and a nice gloss. And we'll talk about all that stuff in a second. But again, I did none of that. I didn't have to come up with any of the money to pay for the design, the printing, or the mailing. That was all paid for by the clients through the deposits and the money, right? Now, this was my one of my original, the original design. Eventually, I ended up with this nice orange card because I had the new designer. I had them do a logo. You can see this was the card that I sent out. I had this nice flyer made. So when I would go to businesses, I would leave this flyer if the owner wasn't there, or if they just said, oh, let me think about it, I would just leave them this flyer. And it had all the information about the mailer, what it does, right? 10,000 residents, exclusive distribution, instant customers, all that stuff, right? And then it had a call to action here. So this was a flyer that I would hand out. Sometimes I would leave, once I had printed some cards and done some mailings, I would actually just leave a sample card in this flyer with the business owner, and got a lot of business that way, right? So this was the kind of original stuff. And then this is what it looks like now. So this is one that is tied in with our Hawaii Thrive directory site. So you can see this has the same branding as our Smart Directory AI site. And this is done from that brand, Hawaii Thrive. All right. And I'll talk about how I tie these two things together and how one helps sell the other. You're going to love this because this just like makes this super duper easy to do. But anyway, this is what our most recent card branded to Hawaii Thrive look like, right? So, okay, now we have also done some other things like this, because this 9x12 size is not the only size that you can do, right? So this was a smaller 6x9 card that we did, where we only had, I think, how many businesses do we have on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is our own ad right here, right? 7. So this is a smaller 6x9 card that we did. I think we only sent this out to like 2,500 addresses. And the thing with this was we didn't mail this one to residents. We actually mailed this one to 20. I can't remember how many it was. Maybe it was only 1,000. We actually mailed this one to businesses. So the goal of this card was for these businesses to get commercial clients. So I had these were advertisers from our other card that offered both residential and commercial services. So my idea here was like, look, the big mailer, the 10,000, right? That'll help you get these residential clients and all those, but your higher dollar commercial clients, well, we're going to do a direct mail piece just to businesses, and you can advertise your commercial services. So we got a cleaning company, a carpet cleaning company, we had a tax professional. And then of course, a lot of these offices, they love to go to lunch and that kind of stuff. So this one was done just for, and again, I think we bought a list. We just bought a list online of 1,000 business addresses in Kihei, and that's what we sent this to. You can see here, there's a blank space. That was where we printed the labels and stuck them on to send this out, right? So this one was just a business mailer, not like this card, which would go out to 10,000 residents. That was the appeal of this, right? These businesses were looking for residents, that type of stuff. So this is what I did, right? Basically, I had this little laminated card. I just walked into businesses. I said, look, I'm going to send this out to 10,000 people. And I sold 16 spots in 7 days, mainly just through pure force of will, right? I remember one day I had sold at least one spot every single day that I had been going out. And there was this one day where it was about 5 o'clock. I had not sold a spot. I was tired. I was ready to go home. And I was like, man, I do not want to go home. Like, I want to keep this streak alive. I want to sell at least one spot so I can say I sold one every single day until the card was full. And, but But man, I'm like, well, it's 5 o'clock at night. Like restaurants are busy. I can't go there. What business can I go into? And I happened to look over at the light where I was sitting on South Kihei Road, and there was a tattoo shop, and it said open 24 hours. And so I was like, you know what? I'll go in there. So I pull in this tattoo shop, and two of the tattoo artists went in together and bought a spot and on the card. And so like after I sold that spot, I went home. I was like, okay, that's it. I sold a spot today. I went home. And then the next couple of days, I filled up the rest of the card. Again, I sold at least one spot, each day, a lot of days, multiple spots until the card was full. And it took me 7 days to do that. So I have put together a special training for all of you where I walk you through step by step how to do this for yourself. So I'm going to let a link scroll across the bottom of the screen here while I'm doing the rest of the coaching call today. But open that up, bookmark it. That is a training webinar I did all about this method, how I do it, what I do, some improvements from the original, just walking into businesses. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But I give everything away. When you watch that training, you will be able to leave that training. And if you want to go and have some sample things printed up and laminated, you could do exactly what I did and start, generating some cash flow with this right away. Now we'll talk about timing and some things like that here in just a second. But let's fast forward, because in the beginning, right, I've just got this card. I don't have a directory site. I'm just doing this by walking in, and eventually I get clients, and now I can do it through email and things like that. But the reason I started to develop the directory edge method was because one day I was talking to somebody, and they were mentioned the AARP site. Are all you guys familiar with the AARP site? So they actually mentioned to me that AARP was one of the biggest insurance companies. Like that, they sold insurance to seniors. That's what they do. Like they're a private company. They sell insurance to seniors, and their site, their brand, AARP, all of that stuff that they give away for free to seniors, and all of that time and money they invest in that site, they're only doing that because they sell insurance on the back end, and that's where they make all the money. So they use AARP to attract their ideal clients, seniors, and then they sell them their senior insurance on the back end. And I thought, man, that is a super smart idea. First, I thought AARP was I just thought it was like a government thing. Like I'd never really put much thought into it, right? And so that just gave me this spark of an idea of I bet I could use that approach with what I'm doing with this card if I had a directory site to connect it to. And that's what started my journey into directory sites. And that was really what I was looking for a directory site to do, was to act as a magnet to attract my ideal people that I could use for this mailer and my other marketing services. And I could use these two things in conjunction. So the way that I settled on to do that was this. So I would add people to my directory site. Okay. Then I would send them the free listing outreach email, letting them know that they had a listing on my site. Could they please go there and confirm the business information? Now we have them claim their listing. At the time, I didn't have that functionality. So it was basically just like, hey, you have a free listing on my site. I just want to make sure the business information is correct. Could you please, all this information correct? Just reply yes to this email and let me know. Then when they would reply to the email, I would email them back and I would say, thanks for confirming. I really appreciate it. Here's a link to your live listing. Go check it out. If you need any changes, let me know. And then I would say in the email, by the way, as part of my promotion for this directory site, every quarter, I do a mailing to 10,000 residents right here in Kihei. However, we've got hundreds of businesses on the directory site. but I only have 14 spots available on the mailer. Now, because this is co-op, we all share the cost. So it's only $500. That includes ad design, mailing, everything. But again, I've only got 14 spots and we have hundreds of businesses on the directory site. I've got a new mailer coming out. If you want to be on the one for the next quarter, reply to this email, let me know, and I can get you set up. And that's what I would do. And then that just worked like gangbusters. And then I hired an appointment setter to call all the businesses that I added to my directory site. And she would say, hey, we've added you to the directory site. I just want to verify your information. They'd verify their information. And at the end of that call, she would say, by the way, as part of our promotion for this site, we do a mailer to 10,000 residents in Kihei. Now we have a couple hundred businesses, but we only have 14 spots. Would you be interested in a spot? It's only $500. That includes mailing, ad design, everything. You just pay $250 right now to lock in your spot, and we're good. And that was how I was selling spots, right? Like it worked like gangbusters, killer. So that's how I tie the mailer into the directory site. And another side part of that is I would tell them, look, if you sign up today for a spot on the mailer, I will gift you a premium upgrade listing on our directory site. That's a $250 value. You'll get it absolutely free with your spot on the mailer, in addition to the mailer, all that other stuff. And so I would use the directory site as like an added bonus to close these deals. That makes sense to everybody? Yeah, Dorn, I think that's probably what I would eventually go to. You know, once you get some traction and stuff like that, you can do that, right? So that's how the whole process kind of came about. Now, let me talk a little bit about the training that you're going to go there. I don't know why I removed the wrong thing. Okay, so when you go watch that training, again, offlinesharks.com/revealed, I give you the entire method, exactly how to do it, all the stuff. I think there's even, I even give you a PDF in that training that has the template so you can go have your own sample cards made. Now, you can do it exactly the way I did it, right? Like you could just make up your own sample cards. You could go out, just start selling. You don't really need anything else besides just knowing what to do, which is what the training is all about. Now, that being said, obviously, I've been doing this for a long time. I have a lot of assets and resources and things that I've developed and built up over the years. Things like templates for the cards, things like this flyer, things like pricing guides, stuff like that. So here's the thing. At the end of the training, I do make a special offer for a complete system we have for the coupon. It's called the coupon cash system. It comes with ad templates, a bunch of different card designs. You get the flyers, there's sales letters. I think there's a white label video. And when you get that package, we also send you 12 physical printed cards. Now, these were made specifically for someone to be able to go out and use them as an example, but they're not branded to a business, right? Like these are not branded to Hawaii Thrive. They're not branded to Offline Sharks. They're simply branded. You can't really see it up here in the top corner. It just says shop local. So there's no way for anyone to not know that this isn't your actual card. And the ads that are on this card were all made with the ad templates that come with the course. So you can say like, well, is there one of these ads that you really like? And they say, oh, I like this one. You can say, great, I can design your ad just like that, right? And you could do it with the templates, or you just give them to your designer, which is what I did, and they use those templates. So you get 10 of these that have example businesses on them, right? And then you get 2 of these, which these are just the same layout, but they're printed with the size so that you can show a person like, here's the size of the ads. Which one would you like? That type of stuff. Now, I'm going to give you a little pro tip here. If you are showing this to business owners, like if you're actually walking in and showing this to a business owner, no one wants to be the first person on the card, right? Nobody wants to be the first person. So here's a little psychological trick I did to remove that completely from the equation. So before I would go prospecting, I would pick 3 businesses that I was going to go talk to later in the day. I got these little Post-it notes. I wrote the business names on there, the 3 businesses. And then I stuck those Post-it notes on 3 empty ad spaces on this card. And whenever I would go into the business, I would just bring this out and I would say, look, this is what I'm doing. So I'd show them this card. This is what it's going to be like. When they put this in the mailbox, they kind of fold it over like that. They don't crease it, but they kind of fold it over like that so it fits in the mailbox. So when it pops out, it's like boom, and they can see all the stuff, right? One of my lines used to be that, Valpak brags about having a, whatever it is, 70% open rate, but my open rate is 100%, right? Because all they have to do is this. And a lot of times people will just hang these on their fridges and bring them in, right? Okay, so I would show them this first, and then I'd say, now, here's the spots that I have available, and it's only $500. You just pay $250 now. That includes ad postage. But they would see the Post-it notes in the various spots, and so they would just assume that those people bought those spots. I would never say they did, and no one ever asked me. No one ever said, well, did those people actually pay you? But I know that that's what they thought because those Post-it notes were there. And so it just looked like we were in full swing, and it took away all that fear of being the first on. It was social proof, right? They see these 3 Post-it notes and they go, oh, I know those businesses. If they're on it, like, this must be legit, right? And then eventually I would go talk to those businesses, and a lot of times I would get them to sign up so they really would be on it. But again, I never lied. I never said, hey, I already have these businesses on here. I never said anything like that. I just showed them the card with the couple Post-it notes on it and just let them assume. If anyone had ever asked me, I would have told them, oh, those are businesses I'm going to talk to later. But no one ever asked me, so I didn't have to do that. So that's a little psychological ploy you can use. Again, when you grab the package in the training, you get 12 total. So you get 2 price ones and you get 10 of the sample business cards. And I mail these to you priority mail. So I just sent a couple out earlier today. I sent some out yesterday, but you'll get them in a few days. So let's talk a little bit about the timing of this, because I think this is important. And I know we had an email yesterday that talked about, making some quick holiday cash. And one of the things about this method is, like, right now we are almost on Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving is next week. So, I mean, to be fully transparent, I would not try to get one of these things out by Christmas. Like, that would be a monumental effort. But where they do really, really well is the beginning of the year. A lot of businesses, they want some kind of thing to spark sales at the beginning of the year. And so they are very receptive to one of these mailers going out in January or February. Those are usually the ones that I filled up the fastest. So the reason we're talking about this right now is because you may not get some cash for the holiday, but you can replenish your cash bank account after the holiday. So if you started reaching out to businesses and saying, hey, look, we're going to be doing this mailer January, but I'm filling up spots now, right? Then you're not tied into a definite deadline, which is key. And you'll be able to start generating deposits and things like that now. And then you send it out in January. So that would be my recommendation. Yeah. And I know Dorn has done a lot of these. There's quite a few people in our community. We've had a guy a couple of weeks on the shout outs that's filled some cards. You probably see Scott Meisner in our group who crushes it with these. this is like one of the most evergreen methods you will ever learn. Like this never goes out of style, right? And if you have been running into businesses that are just like tech leery, like this really converts well because they get coupons, they get mailing these out, right? And when you combine it with your Smart Directory AI site, you have an awesome combination. So that is, I think, all I have to say about that. I want to take some questions, and yeah, we can kind of go from there. If you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, let me know. And then towards the end, we'll do some shark shout outs and all that kind of stuff. So let me scroll up here. Oh, Dorn. I think it was it dollar, something like that? I see. Here's a good question. I'm assuming to limit one business type per card, correct? You can do that. You know, it's not like the way that I used to do it is like I would tell them I'm going to have one, like I would have, there's sub niches in each niche, right? So like I could have a house cleaning company and a carpet cleaning company. I could have a Mexican restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, a pizza restaurant, like that, right? So I would kind of do that kind of stuff. I could have a general contractor, a roofer, and an electrician. So like I would kind of do it that way. Somebody says, I love it. And Tom's got a lot of the businesses. All right. Oh, dude, I have not, like, I'm in Vegas now. I have not done a mailer in Kihei in forever. In fact, here's an interesting little tidbit. Whoever this person is, you should absolutely do one of these in Kihei because I moved to Vegas 4 years ago, right? 4 years ago. I had a client from my mailer call me last week and was like, hey, this is Ted. I don't know if you remember me. I used to do these mailers with you. I'm just wondering, are you still doing them? I would love to get something out. That's a client from, like, I have not talked to this person in 4 years. And they tracked down my number and called me. And so I called them back and I told them, well, look, you know, I've moved to Vegas. We've got this online directory. We're not really doing the mailers as much anymore because we don't need to, right? Like we get a lot of clients through the directory site itself and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, if you want to do one, I'd knock yourself out. I would say do one. Yeah, Scott does have a lot of kids. Let me see on here. Any other questions? Says, do you have anything to drive traffic from the card to the directory listings? Yes. So look, here's on the screen, it's all branded to the directory, right? So let me show you here. So here's the front of the mailer. Oh, I got to take this off. So you see here in the corner, we've got Hawaii Thrive, right? Hawaii Thrive Initiative. And then we also have up here, seeing this right next to where the postage is in the upper right corner, visit hawaiithrive.com or call. And we also have that in the middle right here on the other side, right? Visit hawaiithrive.com. And then like if you look in the flyer, you can see this is how I did it on one of my old Decline Coupons card. So I had this, I had a QR code, which, you know, it's really interesting. At the time I did this, none of this stuff had really caught on. So these things were not very effective. I just stopped doing them because they weren't effective. But now, since COVID has happened and all that stuff, I would imagine this is a lot more effective. But that's how I did it. You just put it as part of your logo so that it drives people right to what you're doing. This video that I'm doing right now will be on my YouTube channel. Yep. Let me see. Let's see. Albert says, hey, Tom, thank you for the great content you put out. Oh, thanks, Albert. Appreciate that. This is a bit not on subject, but do you guys offer training on how to actually deliver services to client? Yes. So Albert, we do. So we do have several courses on this. So we've got some courses that are free and we have some courses that are paid. So if you go to our website, offlinesharks.com, just look at our free and paid courses. You'll see lots of stuff there on how we deliver high level services. So we've got a thing called AI Post and Profit. We have a thing called the Already Done Method. We have some of our free courses like the AI Fast Track. Plus, there's lots of free training on our YouTube channels on how to do that. And we have a coaching program called the AI Profit Center, where that's exactly what we talk about, how to deliver high-level services and things like that. So we get this question a lot. I do know, okay, so this is a great question, and I do want to talk a little bit about this, because for those of you that are not in the US, and you're like, oh, can I do this? Yes, you can do this, but you do have to make a couple of adjustments. So number one, the first thing you would want to do if you're in Canada is, and I know that we've had some people that have done them in Canada and in like New Zealand and in Australia. So we've had people do them in other places and have success, but you have to take a little bit of a different approach because you don't have the every door direct mail option. So the first thing you want to do is reach out to the postal system in your country, in your area, and find out, just tell them what you want to do. I want to mail this 9x12 jumbo postcard. Is there some kind of special service you offer that might help me do that the most cost-efficient way possible? That's number one. Number two, remember, if they don't have something like that, that's okay, because this is a co-op mailer, because all of these people are pitching in, you can deliver direct mail wherever you're at a extremely discounted price than anyone else. And what do I mean by that? So look, if a business wanted to do a card of this size on their own, they would spend over $4,000. Like if they wanted to make a 9x12 card and put their business on both sides and ship it out through every door direct mail to 10,000 residents, they would spend probably close to $5,000, maybe even more depending on the design and where they get it printed. That's a lot of money. Compare that to $500. Like that's a very big difference, right? So once you find out if there is some kind of special mailing program in your country that you can take advantage of, use that if you have it. If you don't, well, go and figure out, like if I just wanted to print one of these for myself, like if I'm just a solo business and I wanted to send a direct mail postcard to 10,000 people in this area, how much would it actually cost? Call up a printing company, a mailing company in your country and ask them, like, what would that actually cost? You are going to be shocked at how expensive it is. That is your value proposition for this. Because then you can go to, here's what I would do. So first, check to see if you have a special mailing program. Whether you do or don't, doesn't matter. Check and find out how much would it actually cost a business to send out a direct mail piece to 10,000 residents. Even if it's not this big, even if it's just postcard size, find that out. You'll be shocked at how expensive it is. Third, only target businesses that are already doing advertising. Really, you want businesses that are already doing direct mail. Then what you would do is just reverse engineer your pricing. So you would figure out all your hard costs. So you say, okay, for me to make this 9x12 card, to have it printed and to mail it, it's going to cost X amount of dollars, whatever that is for your country, right? Then you say, okay, well, if I break this card up into 14 to 16 spots, how much do I have to charge per spot to make the amount of money I want to make after I cover my costs? And then that's what you charge for your spaces. It will be a bargain to the people in your country, because if they try to do it on their own, it would be way more expensive. Does that make sense to everyone? Because whenever I would walk into a business that did direct mail and show them this and tell them it was only $500, they would be like, are you kidding me? Like, this one place was like, I just did a mailer last week. I spent $4,000 and I could only send it out to a few thousand people. You're telling me for $500, I can get this to 10,000 people right here? Like, they were like, where do I sign? Like, zero questions. So be very specific about, pardon me, who you target. Ideally, look for businesses in your area that are already doing some type of direct mail. But if you can't find those, just look for businesses that are spending money on advertising. Target them. They will see the value in this, right? For whatever price it is, because you can just tell them, like, normally here, if you're in Europe, you might say, look, normally this would be 10,000 euros to do this, but I can do it for you for, 600 euros. Like, that's still a very good deal. That makes sense to everybody? Suzette, how soon is the turnaround of printing and mailing, and is the location that you're having print, do they mail as well, or is it a different process? So Suzette, you can have the printing company do the mailing for you. A lot of printing companies in the US offer every door direct mail full service. However, I would just take it to the post office myself. So here's how every door direct mail works. And by the way, if you guys want to see about every door direct mail, just go to, I think it's everydoordirectmail.com. I don't know if this is it, the U.S. Postal Service. Let's see what comes up. Oh, nope. This is, I don't know. That's not the U.S. Postal Service. So USPS EDM. There we go. So here we go. You can just go to the USPS.com site, and they have a whole section on every door direct mail, how it works. They have an online tool. I show you this in the training. So this is how you can go and pick the areas, and it tells you exactly how much your postage is going to be. So Suzette, the way this works is the mail pieces do not have specific addresses on them. That's why the post office can do this so cheap. So all they ask you to do is to get your mail piece to the post office that delivers to the neighborhoods where you want your mail to go. You drop it off there. They just put it in the trucks the next morning. And as the carrier goes around, he just throws one in every mailbox. So it's actually faster than express mail because it doesn't go through the sorters. It doesn't do any of that stuff. They just put it on the trucks and hand it out. So it's actually by neighborhood, not by specific address. So if you look here on my card, you'll see up here in this upper right corner, you see this thing where it says pre-sorted standard. This is the every door direct mail postage that you print on the cards. So when you print this on the cards, you don't have to provide an address. You don't have to put a stamp. This is the indicia. That's what I couldn't think of the word. This is the indicia that allows you to be able to do this the way that every door direct mail works. So you just print this on the card, and that takes the place of an address. Okay. So how does this work? Well, you go into the tool, and let's say like I'm going to put in my zip code. Okay, here in Vegas, and you'll see that it's going to pull up a little map of my area. And you see how everything is kind of purple, and when I hover over it, it shows me these little areas. So these are individual routes. And if you look at the top right here, see this where it says route, residential, business, total, size, all that stuff. Okay. Here, I can actually, let's do this. Okay. So when I hover over one of these neighborhoods, see how those numbers fill in? So this is route RO30. It has 662 residential addresses. There's one business address. The age, 74% are in the age range I selected. The average house is 3 people. The average income is $200K. And if I wanted to mail just this neighborhood, it would cost $163.76. So I can select this neighborhood, and you can actually set this so that you don't use businesses. So I do residential routes only. You just select this right here. Now it only shows you residential routes. Okay. Here, I'll clear routes. And let's go back and we'll do this again. So this is how you decide where to mail. So what you want to do is you want to look for middle and upper middle class neighborhoods. Your very low income neighborhoods are not good for this, and your very rich neighborhoods are usually not good for this either. You want that middle to upper middle class neighborhoods. So if you know where that is in your area, like I know, like over in this area, this is where I live. I know this is a nice neighborhood. So if I wanted to send, let's see how many residences are just in this neighborhood, right? Like, here, let me see here. You can see as I add these, okay. So as I add these on, you can see now I've got 3 routes selected, right? I can just go around here. I can, I'm not getting the hang of the clicky. So I can select all these routes. So right now, if I wanted to mail this whole neighborhood, how many houses are in this neighborhood that I'm in? Let's see. Right now, we're up to almost 6,500. And this is an area called the Vistas, which is a very, like, these would be great customers for most businesses. So you can see right here, just this neighborhood alone has 10,000. Yeah, so I could do this. I could mail 9,852, right? Actually, here, let's do this one. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. I don't know what. It's being tricky. But you see, you just play around and you can see to mail these residents, it would cost $2,327.97. So that's how you use this little tool to kind of figure all this out. And again, I show you this in the training, so you can just go there, watch the training. I show you how to use the tool, how to figure it out. Basically, what this is saying is you can only mail 5,000 per day. So what I would do is I would drop 5,000 off one day, 5,000 off the next day. Okay. Let me go back over here. Let me scroll down to some questions and see. So, Tom, can I use my golden ticket from last year for this? Jamil, yeah, send in a just contact support. Let them know. Yeah, I noticed that, Patty. It's doing it in the channels too. It's so weird, right? So somebody said mid-income versus high-income disposable to spend on home services. Yeah, so Christopher, here's what I have found in my experience. You would think that like lower income areas would really use the coupons, but I find they don't. It's really those people in your middle income, upper income brackets that tend to use the coupons and really go for the home service stuff. So I would focus on that. Like in Maui, there's an area called Wailea that is like an ultra wealthy area. I mailed Wailea a few times, but most of the time, like it didn't really deliver results for the businesses because a lot of those homeowners were not there year round. Like they're just like vacation homes, all that kind of stuff. So I really wanted to focus on the areas like Maui Meadows and the main Kihei areas where like, you know, the real, I don't want to say real people, but where, you know, the average person lives. Let's see. Let me take a look on here. So any other questions on this before I do some shark shout outs? So no, it is not delivered weekly. You just do them whenever you want. It's a one-time mailing. So I personally got in the rhythm of doing one per quarter. So I found that doing one per quarter gave me plenty of time to fill the card. I wasn't under pressure. I wasn't anything like that. And I would just do multiple areas. So I had one for Kihei. I had one for Upcountry. And I tried to do one in Lahaina, but like that one really didn't pan out. So mainly Kihei, Upcountry were the two areas I focused on. So I could have multiple cards going, more than one card going in a quarter. And that's how I kind of got the revenue up. The card is only delivered once. It's a one-time mailing. Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, look, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, if you have questions on that, you can pop these in here. Yeah. John says, I can verify I am never at my vacation home in Hawaii. Yes. Yeah. I didn't know what it's real people isn't the right word, but like, I don't know what to say. It's like, you just get better results in the, middle income up. Like think of, you just get better results that way. So we'll just do it there. So Suzette, no, I had the most success with the residential cards because all businesses are trying to get their business in front of residents. So those usually work the best. We actually only did, I think, one or two of those business focused cards because they just didn't go as well, right? Like it just, the return on the, we're using them mainly as a lead generation thing and all that. So it was just much better with the big cards. Working people. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, look, if you guys have any questions on this, I will get to those again here in a minute. But before we wrap up today's live show, I want to go over a few of our wins in the community. So I'm going to go up here first. A big shout out again to everybody that's doing the accountability posts. Awesome, awesome work, guys, here. I love seeing this. I love seeing everybody stay accountable. Great, great stuff. And then let's do some shark shout outs. So every week, we like to celebrate the wins in our community. So this week, we got a big shout out to Rosina. She got 2 new site builds. One's a barter. It's a friend of hers for church. It's a home repair pro. He's going to do repairs on her house in exchange for a site build and hosting. Rosina, that is an awesome deal. The second one is a $500 job, ongoing hosting maintenance, waiting to be finalized. Excellent work, Rosina. Excellent, excellent work. That's it. Wait, that's it? We have one shout out today? Come on, people. We can do better than that. I know we had more wins than that. Dorn, I know you had more wins than that. Well, look, that's what we've got for today. So a grand total of $960,888.23 since the start of 2025. You guys are really going to make me sweat this $1 million thing out, aren't you? One win. Come on. Hold on. I got to go check this out. That does not seem right to me. Hold on. Let's go here and see. I guess some of these are from last week. All right. Well, guys, look, do me a favor. Share your wins in the group. We got to get this up. We got to get that up. We got to cross the $1 million. I want that in there. Okay. Any other questions about the mailer, the prospecting, anything like that? Here, let me open up a few things, and maybe I can show you guys a couple things here too that you might be interested in. So there are a couple of bonus things and stuff so here, let me find this. What just happened? Hold on. Trying to log into the site here. I want to show you guys a few things. So I'm going to log in and later. I'm going to go into the CCSU members area and show you guys a couple of things. So let me pull this up here. And then, yeah. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick. And then we are going to do a Cash App giveaway here too before we wrap things up today. So, all right, here we are. So this is the coupon cash system unleashed. I just want to show you a few things in here. So the ad designs that you get inside of Coupon Cash System Unleashed actually came from Scott Meisner, who's in our Facebook group. So Scott was kind enough to let us use those ad designs to help other people out doing this and all that. So in the training, you'll see like there's stuff on the templates, how to do your fulfillment, the best businesses to target. So I even have a little book in here that's like all the best offers for all the niches A to Z. So like if you're like going to have an accountant and you're like, what's a great offer for an accountant? You go to this little book and you just look up accountant and it gives you 3 or 4 of the best offers they could use on their card. So that's one of the bonuses as well. We've also got, so all the things, how to start, what to do, right? The show, tell, and sell prospecting, how to price everything, printing. I even have recommended printers in here, recommended designers, all of that stuff, right? How to do all of this. Plus, we've got a bunch of bonuses, an ROI worksheet, the best offers industry book. We've got sales contracts, flyer templates, email scripts, all of that stuff. Plus, in this advanced section, there's a whole bunch of other, tons of layouts for different numbers of ads on cards, ad templates, all of this stuff as well. And then there's even some advanced trainings in here where you can do the sponsored mailing strategy where you get one business to sponsor your mailing. So, we've shared, I don't know if you guys remember, we had a business black belt training with Randy and Jocelyn where they talked about how they sell directory sites to real estate agents. Well, you can do the same thing with the card. You could go to a real estate agent and say, look, instead of branding the card as a directory site, you could brand it to the real estate agent. And so you would say, look, the agent would pay however much to have their branding on both sides of the cards, like it's their mailer, and then you fill in the businesses. That's another way to get your revenue up as well. There's print brokering. So these are other design services that you can sell on top of this. And then 10 ways to get coupon notice. So here's a great one. There's actually a hot seat in here with our very own operations extraordinaire, Cameron Rote. So for those of you that don't know kind of how Cameron came into the Offline Sharks family, I've known Cameron for a very long time. And Cameron is also a magician, and we had the same magic mentor in Michigan. And so I'd known Cameron for a long time. And one time when I went to Michigan, Offline Sharks wasn't around yet, but I was doing these mailers and I was doing a directory site. And I went to Michigan to visit, and I hung out with Cameron and I showed him what I was doing with the mailers. And Cameron at the time was working as a furniture salesman. And he started doing mailers in Flint, Michigan. And he started having really good success, and he started offering print brokering services. So he actually started a company called Mid-Michigan Mailer. And he was doing mailers, providing print services and other marketing services to businesses in Flint. And in the meantime, Nick and I partner up. We start doing Offline Sharks. We start going, hey, we need an operations person. And I thought of Cameron. And so I reached out to him, and Cameron was like, yeah, I'd love to do it. So he came on. But this is, I think, before that, I did a hot seat with him where he talked about how he was doing his mailers and all that. And in this course, if you go to the section where we talk about printing, so if you go in here to the printing your card, there's some recommended Mid-Michigan Mailer as one. So this is Cameron. So I know a lot of people in the community have reached out to him for questions about printing and pricing and all that stuff. So you can find his info inside here as well. Let me see. This is only one-time mailer, or the same businesses will pay again for the next month. They will definitely pay to do it again. So when you look at this mailer that I have right here, CSI Carpet Cleaners, Island Auto Storage, Clear Choice Cleaning. This was the guy that called me last week. So CSI Carpet Cleaning, Island Auto Storage, Clear Choice, this electrician right here. And then on the other side, the Maui Cleaning Care, Pizza Madness, Threes Bar and Grill. This is another one of their companies. Oh, wait, no, this isn't the back. Sorry. So let me go back through this. So these were businesses that did multiple mailers with me. Some of them were on over a dozen mailers. So yes, the businesses come back. CSI Carpet Cleaning, Island Auto Storage, Clear Choice, This Electrician, multiple mailers. Over here, Kihei Automotive was on just about every mailer I did. They actually changed ownership, and the new owners, this was a different place before. This is the new owners, but the old owners had it. The new owners kept it going. What else? Pizza Madness, another one on a bunch as well. And these, like Maui Burgers, Kraken Coffee, Maui Poke, these are businesses that were in a food truck court that opened up on Maui that I got to come on and do. Aloha, Thai Fusion, another great one. So yes, you will get the same businesses over and over and over again. Let me add that one. I'm not familiar with Joe. Oh, Mark, you're welcome. You're welcome. Suzette says, so we get the generic postal indicia from the post office or somewhere else? Yes. So Suzette, there's actually a spot on the Every Door direct mail site where you can download it. But if you go and watch the training, offlinesharks.com/revealed, in that training, I give you a PDF template for the mailer, and it's already got the indicia and all that stuff on it. So you can just download that free template. You don't have to buy anything to get the template. That was like, I think that's like the stay till the end bonus for watching the whole training, but you'll get that. So I was charging $500 per ad space because, again, I was using this as a way to get an initial client and then sell them other services. So I know some people in the community now are charging $800 or more. Dorn, what are you guys charging for your spots right now? Let's see. Aaron says, how do I estimate the price to ask to a business? What is the price range? Is it related to the size they choose? No. So I did mine, like all of these ad sizes are basically the same size. They're just either horizontal or vertical, but they're all about 4x3 or 3x4. So I just had all 14 ads be very close to the same size, and I charge the same price for every spot, $500. If you want to do something like this, you can, where you have different sizes or you break them into smaller ads, and you could, like, these prices are on the higher end. Like, I would do these smaller ones for like $250. So I do $250 or $275, $275, and then I charge $500 for everything else. But, you know, that's been a while. I'd probably up the prices. So what you want to do, you don't just want to pull prices out of the air, and you don't just want to go by what I'm telling you. What you want to do is what a real business would do. You should find out what your hard costs are going to be exactly, and then build your pricing off of that. So figure out how much is it going to cost you. Like, look on Upwork, find a designer, talk to a designer, right? Use the ones in the course. Find out how much the printing is going to be, right? Find out how much the mailing is going to be, and then base your prices off of that. Don't just pull prices out of the air. Like, do your homework. Yeah, and Sabrina, that was the point. I wanted this to be an easy sell, a no-brainer offer that got me a client. And then I would basically do the same thing that I do with the directory. I would just go to them after I gave them their ad design, right? So let me take a step back and just reiterate our overall prospecting strategy. So hopefully you guys can really start to like get this in your bones and start looking at your own prospecting this way. To have high-paying clients, you need to build trust, okay? The biggest problem I had in the beginning, and probably most of you have right now, is you have no trust with the people that you're trying to sell things to. And so when you're reaching out to them, trying to sell things, they don't know who you are. They don't trust you. Like it's an uphill battle all the way because you're not famous. They don't, right? Like you don't have any trust built up. So our first goal is always to try to get some trust and just get some traction. If we can get some amount of money to exchange hands, then we can provide value for that money and show them that we are trustworthy. And then selling them higher price services becomes infinitely easier. So if you look at all of the prospecting stuff that we talk about here in our community, it is all built around that framework. It is. All of it is built around that framework. How can we get some initial traction and trust? And then how can we leverage that to sell higher priced things? Stop trying to go for the high price thing right out of the gate. It is very rare that that works for anyone. Very rare. So follow this process. Easy entry, no-brainer offers that we can build trust with and then sell them higher price things on the back end. So when it comes to the mailer, here's how I would do that. Hey, I'm doing this co-op mailer. It's only $500 for 10,000. That includes ad design, printing, mailing, everything. You give me $250 right now. I'll design your ad. Once the ad is approved by you, you pay me the remaining $250. I'm not even asking for all the money, right? Like I'm saying, look, you got to put some skin in the game, but then I'm going to deliver and then you're going to give me the rest of the money, right? So very low barrier of entry. Plus it's only $500 for most businesses. That's not a lot, right? They're like, I can risk it for this. Okay. Now here's the deal. When they give me that $250, I get all the information. I get their ad designed. I deliver a great client experience. I get the ad done quickly. I do the revisions on time. I make sure everything is the way they want it. Now, you good with your ad? Yes. Okay. Send me the other $250. Great. By the way, while I was designing your ad, I noticed you have your website URL in your ad. So I took a look at your website and I found a couple of problems that I think are keeping you from getting all the business you could from your website. I made a quick video showing you what the problems are and how you can quickly fix them. Do you mind if I send it over to you? And then I would send them a Loom video of me auditing their website and talking about how they could do better here, do better there. And then if they would like me to help them do that, I'd be more than happy. Or you could do it for an AI service, like an AI chatbot. Hey, while I was designing your ad, I noticed that if somebody sees this ad and they go to your website, there's no way for them to talk to you on the website. What if you had an AI agent on your website that when this ad drove them to your website, it engaged them, it could book appointments, all of that stuff. Like that would mean you would get way more value from this ad because the ad will send them to your website. Once they're there, the AI agent can close the deal. Oh, that sounds great. How much would that be? Oh, well, it's blah, 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 right? So that's how we layer these things on. So start thinking about your prospecting in that kind of layered fashion. What is a great, really low cost thing I can get out there that I can deliver an awesome experience on? And then as I'm doing that work, I can mention these other things I found. I don't really know how to explain how it changes the conversation because it changes it so drastically. Like if you're out there just trying to sell agency services cold, it is a fight claw uphill battle. But once you have your foot in the door, even if it's something for just a directory listing at $29 or something like that, even if it's low cost, a $99 thing, the fact that they've paid you means there's some trust there. And now you can just talk to them about all this other stuff. Hey, while I was setting up your listing, I noticed this. Hey, by the way, while I was making your ad, I noticed this. You should probably get this fixed. I can help you do that. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, look, I know we went a little over. I got to ranting and raving. Sorry about that. So again, check out the training, offlinesharks.com/revealed. I give you the whole method, everything. There's even a PDF with a template you can download from the training. Also, too, if you're in a place where you can't do the mailer or you just don't want to do a mailer, a lot of the things that I talked about today also work with our Smart Directory AI website. So if you haven't signed up for a free trial of that to check it out, go to offlinesharks.com/SDA trial. We have a brand new feature rolling out next week where you can add voice AI agents directly to your Smart Directory site. I just shot all the training videos for that yesterday. So we're going to be rolling that out to all existing members at no additional charge. You'll be able to put voice bots that people can interact by talking to through their computer microphone. It's really, really awesome. Plus, there's a conversation AI. We built everything out for you. You don't really have to do anything. So if you don't have a trial, check it out at offlinesharks.com/SDA trial. All right, let's do some giveaways. So here's what I want you guys to do. Wherever you are watching this stream, just in the comments, put #OldSchool. And I'm going to give two $25 Cash App cards away. While we're doing that, Dorn, we're working on it. It's turned out to be a lot more involved than we anticipated. But hey, what in the software isn't, right? It seems so easy. Okay. All right. #OldSchool. Get them in there. I'm getting ready to do the drawing. Here we go. Oh, let me make sure. All right. I'm going to wait till we get to over 30, and then I'm going to draw for the first one. There's 29. Okay, here we go. Our first $25 Cash App winner is Kelly Smith Marketing. Congratulations. Kelly, the team is making a note of this. If you could reach out to support, let them know you're the winner. They'll get you squared away. All right, I see more entries coming in. Our next $25 Cash App winner is Megalodon Dorn. Sliding in there for the win. Congratulations, Dorn. Awesome stuff. Okay. Thanks again for watching today's training. Again, this old school method, this was really what got me my first real traction. Again, I landed 16 clients in 7 days. Since then, we've improved the process. We've refined the process. It is much easier to do now than it was back then, and it still works like gangbusters. So check out the free training, offlinesharks.com/revealed. If you haven't yet, sign up for a free trial of Smart Directory AI, offlinesharks.com/SDAI trial. Until next week, stay safe. I'll see everybody in the next video.